Imagine walking into your sunlit kitchen at 7 in the morning to prepare a perfect breakfast. You reach for a box of organic honey roasted granola, believing it supports your cardiovascular health. You add a generous scoop of 0% fat blueberry yogurt to optimize your morning energy. To finish the meal, you pour a tall glass of 100% pure, unsweetened orange juice. You sit down at the table feeling proud of your choices for avoiding greasy, processed breakfast meats. You genuinely believe you are protecting your arteries and preparing your body for a vibrant, productive day. But behind the clean green packaging and beautiful images of fresh fruit lies a catastrophic medical illusion. Right now, within 30 minutes of finishing that meal, a silent biochemical cascade is triggering inside you. Your liver is entering a state of severe metabolic distress from an overwhelming rush of refined molecules. Your bloodstream is being flooded with toxic compounds while your blood vessels experience microscopic inflammatory damage. In reality, the breakfast you just consumed delivered the exact same metabolic insult as a glazed chocolate donut. This is the terrifying reality of the modern health food industry dominating every supermarket in the United States. Millions of health-conscious Americans suffer from chronically elevated cholesterol and progressive heart disease without knowing why. They are not eating junk food, but they are falling directly into the multi-billion-dollar breakfast trap. Protecting your longevity requires cutting through the marketing noise to understand the absolute truth of human biochemistry, the deception of the health halo. To understand how this trap works, we must expose the dark history of American food marketing. In the late 20th century, early nutritional guidelines and the federal government declared war on dietary fat. Fat was falsely blamed for obesity, heart attacks, and every major metabolic illness plaguing the Western world. The food industry faced a massive crisis because removing fat made their products taste completely unappealing. To solve this problem, food scientists discovered a highly profitable loophole that changed the American diet forever. When you extract fat from a product, you must replace it with something that stimulates the brain. That replacement was refined, sugar-high, fructose corn syrup, and highly processed starches disguised under technical names. Manufacturers realized they could slap a bold, low-fat label on a box to manipulate consumer psychology. Medical experts call this psychological phenomenon the health halo effect, which alters our perception of nutritional value. When a product uses buzzwords like organic, natural, or gluten-free, your brain automatically drops its defenses. You assume the product is safe for your heart and will promote long-term physical wellness. But your liver does not read marketing labels and only responds to the strict laws of biochemistry. The biochemistry of the modern American breakfast is profoundly toxic to your circulating lipid profile every day, unmasking the three breakfast criminals. Let us unmask the first major criminal sitting on millions of kitchen counters across the country. Commercial granola has been successfully marketed as the ultimate global symbol of clean and healthy eating. We naturally associate granola with physical fitness, outdoor activities, and pure vitality for the human body. But if you analyze commercial granola under a strict medical lens, the healthy illusion instantly shatters. To make granola, crunchy clusters of oats are bound together using heavily refined industrial seed oils. These oils include canola, soybean, and corn oil, which undergo extreme heat and chemical processing before packaging. This industrial processing renders the polyunsaturated fatty acids highly unstable and prone to rapid cellular oxidation. When you consume these oxidized omega-6 fatty acids, they trigger systemic inflammation across your endothelial wall. The endothelium is the delicate single layer of cells lining the entire inside of your blood vessels. Furthermore, commercial granola is suffocated in hidden sugars to ensure consumers keep buying the product repeatedly. On the ingredient list, you will rarely see the word sugar placed near the very top. Instead, manufacturers use deceptive, elegant pseudonyms like organic agave, nectar brown rice syrup, or evaporated cane juice. Biochemically, your digestive system processes these expensive syrups exactly the same way as standard high-fructose corn syrup. A single cup of commercial granola can easily contain over 25 grams of refined sugar. That is mathematically equivalent to consuming an entire chocolate candy bar first thing in the morning. When you pour a massive bowl of granola, you force your pancreas to secrete a surge of insulin. This massive insulin spike completely halts fat burning and locks your body into chronic lipid accumulation. This brings us to the second criminal disguised as a superfood, flavored low-fat yogurt cups. Authentic, unsweetened, full-fat Greek yogurt is an exceptional food rich in bioavailable proteins and probiotics. However, the brightly colored plastic cups dominating the dairy aisle are a completely different biological entity. When a manufacturer removes natural milk fat from yogurt, the texture becomes watery and completely unpalatable. To fix this structural problem, they inject massive quantities of fruit, concentrates, thickeners, and modified cornstarch. If you pick up a typical 6-ounce container of low-fat strawberry yogurt, you will see something alarming. A single small cup frequently contains up to 26 grams of highly concentrated processed sugar. A standard American chocolate donut contains roughly 10 to 12 grams of total sugar from the bakery. This means choosing the low-fat yogurt over the donut delivers double the amount of refined sugar. When you consume this liquid-soluble sugar on an empty stomach, it requires absolutely no digestive breakdown. It bypasses the normal digestive timeline and immediately saturates your bloodstream within a few short minutes. The sheer speed of this glucose entry creates an artificial emergency inside your cellular physiology. Your body is forced to adapt in ways that directly damage your entire cardiovascular system over time. But the absolute worst offender of all is store-bought 100% pure fruit juice. For decades, parents have poured large glasses of orange or apple juice for their developing children. They genuinely believe it is a vital source of vitamin C and healthy morning hydration for the family. But from a metabolic standpoint, drinking processed fruit juice is virtually identical to drinking a sugary soda. Nature intentionally designed fruit with a perfect structural defense mechanism known as insoluble dietary fiber. When you eat a whole fresh orange, the fiber matrix slows the digestion of natural sugars. It takes considerable time for your stomach to break it down, causing a gentle release of energy. When a factory processes fruit into juice, they completely strip away every single strand of dietary fiber. What remains is a highly concentrated liquid containing pure fructose and glucose completely separated from their matrix. To make matters worse, commercial fruit juice is often stored in massive oxygen-depleted tanks for months. Because this long storage destroys the natural flavor chemical companies create artificial flavor packs to re-engineer the taste. When you drink a 12-ounce glass of orange juice, you consume the sugar of 5 whole oranges. You would never sit down and eat 5 whole oranges at once because the fiber causes fullness. Without fiber, you drink it effortlessly, sending a massive metabolic shockwave directly to your filtering liver. The liver and the biological massacre. To understand why this destroys your blood vessels, we must look at the hidden architecture of cholesterol. For years, you have been told that eating dietary cholesterol like egg yolks clogs human arteries. This outdated concept is fundamentally inaccurate according to modern lipidology and advanced cardiovascular science. Your liver actively creates 80% of the total cholesterol circulating inside your body every single day. Cholesterol is a vital molecule used to build cell membranes, produce hormones, and synthesize essential vitamin D. Because cholesterol is a fat, it cannot dissolve in your watery blood to travel around the body. To move through your circulatory system, it must be carried inside tiny spherical transport vehicles called lipoproteins. You commonly know these vehicles as low-density lipoprotein and high-density lipoprotein across standard medical testing. When you flood your body with sugar spikes from granola yogurt and juice, the real danger begins. The primary culprit is a specific sugar molecule called fructose, which handles very differently than standard glucose. Glucose can be utilized by every single cell in your body, including your muscles and your brain. Fructose can only be metabolized by one single organ inside the human body, which is your liver. When your liver is suddenly bombarded with a massive influx of pure fructose, it becomes completely overwhelmed. The liver mitochondria cannot process this extreme volume of energy substrate entering the organ all at once. It has no choice but to activate an emergency survival pathway called de novo lipogenesis. Literally translated, this scientific term means the creation of entirely new fat molecules directly from sugar. Your liver rapidly converts the excess fructose into saturated fatty acids, specifically known as dangerous triglycerides. As these triglycerides accumulate, your liver begins to develop a pathological layer of internal fat over time. This specific process leads directly to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which affects millions of unsuspecting Americans. To clear this newly created fat out of its tissues, the liver packages triglycerides into transport vehicles. These vehicles are called very low-density lipoproteins, which enter your bloodstream to drop off fat cargo. As these particles circulate through your body, they undergo a dangerous structural and physical transformation. They lose their fat content and convert into small, dense, low-density lipoprotein particles. This is the exact turning point for the development of chronic human cardiovascular disease. The medical community now understands that the total mass of cholesterol is not the best heart predictor. The real danger lies within the specific particle size and the total particle number inside your blood. Large, fluffy lipoprotein particles are relatively harmless because they bounce off your blood vessel walls safely. However, small, dense particles generated by a high-sugar breakfast are highly destructive to human tissue. Because they are tiny, they easily penetrate the microscopic gaps in your delicate endothelial lining. Once they slip beneath the vessel wall, they become trapped in the subendothelial space forever, the pathology of arterial clogging. Once trapped inside your artery wall, these small particles encounter circulating highly reactive free radicals. This encounter triggers a destructive chemical reaction known to medical science as lipid particle oxidation. Oxidized low-density lipoprotein is highly toxic and perceived as an active infection by your body. In response, your immune system dispatches specialized white blood cells called macrophages to neutralize the perceived threat. These white blood cells literally swallow the oxidized cholesterol particles until they become entirely engorged with fat. At this advanced stage, they transform into what pathologists call foam cells under a microscope. As millions of foam cells accumulate over 10 or 15 years, they form a thick, fatty streak. Your body attempts to heal this internal wound by growing a calcified fibrous cap over the fat. This calcified cap creates a classic arterial plaque, which progressively narrows the diameter of your artery. The terrifying truth is that this entire process does not cause any physical pain or warning signs. You cannot feel plaque building up inside your coronary arteries while you sit at your office desk. Your routine blood tests might even show normal total cholesterol if your doctor runs basic testing. But underneath the surface, your arteries are progressively losing their natural elasticity and narrowing every single year. All of this damage occurs because of a daily breakfast routine marketed as a health choice. The metabolic stress from a high-carbohydrate morning leads to an immediate and massive insulin spike. This is followed by an inevitable blood sugar crash 2 hours later, leaving you exhausted and hungry. This explains why by 11 in the morning you experience severe brain fog, irritability, and low energy. You experience intense cravings for caffeine and more refined carbohydrates to kickstart your system again. You are locked in a vicious, highly destructive metabolic cycle that slowly damages your heart tissue. The true metabolic solution. You must break this cycle immediately if you want to protect your cardiovascular longevity for the future. You do not need to skip breakfast entirely, but you must redesign it based on evolutionary biochemistry. The ultimate science-backed healthy breakfast protocol requires a complete inversion of the modern food pyramid. You must ruthlessly eliminate refined carbohydrates and prioritize high-quality protein, fiber, and healthy, unoxidized fats. When you stabilize your morning blood sugar, your circulating insulin levels drop to a healthy baseline. This allows your liver to stop secreting dangerous transport particles and begin burning stored fat for fuel. The absolute gold standard of a truly protective breakfast begins with pasture-raised whole eggs. For decades, eggs were demonized because their yolks contain a high concentration of natural dietary cholesterol. This was one of the worst scientific blunders in the history of modern nutritional science guidelines. Clinical studies have definitively proven that dietary cholesterol from whole foods has a negligible blood impact. Egg yolks are an unparalleled nutritional powerhouse containing vital compounds for your cellular health. They are packed with choline, which supports healthy liver function and optimal lipid metabolism every day. They also contain lutein, zeaxanthin, and essential fat-soluble vitamins that protect your vision and brain. The high-quality protein in egg whites provides amino acids that trigger the release of satiety hormones. These hormones include peptide Y and glucagon like peptide 1, which signal your brain that you are full. This biological signal keeps you completely satisfied and focused for hours without any energy crashes. If you prefer a convenient dairy option, replace flavored yogurt with authentic, unsweetened, full-fat Greek yogurt. Ensure the nutritional label clearly states 5% fat or full cream dairy product. The natural dairy fat contains butyrate and unique fatty acid structures that actively support your metabolic health. These specific fats have been shown to improve the protective function of high-density lipoprotein particles. To add a safe, natural sweetness, top your yogurt with a handful of wild, organic berries. Blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries are exceptionally low in sugar but incredibly high in soluble dietary fiber. The intense pigments in these berries are packed with powerful antioxidants known as anthocyanins. These antioxidants actively protect your circulating low-density lipoprotein particles from undergoing dangerous oxidation. Next, you must introduce healthy, stable fats that optimize your overall lipid ratios and vessel health. Swap the vegetable oil-laden granola for raw, unroasted nuts and organic seeds from the market. Focus on walnuts, almonds, macadamia nuts, and organic chia seeds for your morning crunch texture. Walnuts are exceptionally rich in alpha-linolenic acid, which is a vital plant-based omega-3. This essential fatty acid directly reduces endothelial inflammation and improves the flexibility of your blood vessels. Another extraordinary option to include in your morning routine is a fresh whole avocado. Avocados are loaded with monounsaturated oleic acid, which protects your heart from stress. This is the exact same heart-protective fat found in high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Consuming monounsaturated fats increases the efficiency of your high-density lipoprotein particles in the blood. These particles act as a molecular vacuum cleaner, removing excess cholesterol from your artery walls safely. They transport this excess fat cargo back to the liver to be processed and safely excreted. Finally, you must ruthlessly eliminate every single form of liquid calories from your morning routine entirely. Throw away the store-bought orange juice, fruit smoothies, and sweetened artificial creamers in your coffee. Replace them with clean filtered water, organic black coffee, or high-quality loose-leaf green tea. Green tea contains an extraordinarily potent antioxidant compound known to science as epigallocatechin gallate. Medical trials indicate this compound directly interferes with cholesterol absorption inside your digestive tract. It also upregulates the liver's low-density lipoprotein receptors to clear dangerous particles naturally. The multi-billion-dollar food corporations spend hundreds of millions of dollars every single year on marketing. They design clever advertisements, beautiful packaging, and fake scientific claims to capture your hard-earned money. They rely entirely on consumer ignorance to maintain their record-breaking profit margins year after year. But your long-term physical health is your ultimate personal responsibility and no one else's. You now possess the precise biochemical knowledge required to see through the industrial food illusion. Take absolute control of your cardiovascular future, starting with the very next meal you consume.